case, we will have Ethereum hard fork in 4 of August. And you might have a false expectations that transactions would be cheaper or somehow faster. Well, this is not true, and here is why. That hard fork named London contains several Ethereum improvements, and most of them technical. One of them, which is interesting here, is this one, 1559, and they introduced new transaction type, and what is important for us is how it works. Well, let's start from how it works right now. You basically have, well, several blocks, why it's called blockchain, and when you send a transaction, you specify the gas price for your transactions. And you know that previous blocks have certain transactions in a block. Some of them were cheap, some of them were expensive. And you have expectations that if you put somewhere in the middle, maybe like in a few blocks, your transactions would be included in the next block. However, what happens in reality quite often, like you try to, well, put transaction fee as little as possible in order to be able to get in a block in a 5 next minutes or so. And what happens, like some people will start compete for some arbitrage, for example, or whatever reason, and guys will spike. And it means what you expected to wait for 5 minutes, but in reality you will wait for like 1 hour, which is not good. So what this why it's happening, because you will never know what would be competition for the next block, right? And never know what would be a highest price, what would be a lowest price. You always have to guess. So what this Ethereum proposal does, it specifies the lowest possible fee. Basically, it creates a division of a transaction fee for a certain base fee, which later going to be burned. So in hope that Ethereum going to be deflationary, and some tip on top of that in order to incentivize miners to include your transaction on someone else's transactions. So what it basically means that each block has a certain base gas fee, and you don't know whether your transaction would be included in the next block or not, but you know for sure what if you put your gas fee, let's say gas fee is a 10 gigaway, right? And you say you send transactions and you specify 9 gigaway for gas. You know next block would 100% not contain your transaction. Why is it made that way? Well, the reasoning behind that if you have a base fee and the block would contain only transactions more expensive than this base gas price, and it's too expensive, well, some blocks will be half empty because, well, no one would pay that much gas, right? And as soon as a block start being a little bit empty, this base gas fee gets lowered and lowered until the block will be completely full. As soon as it's full, it will goes up, and it basically creates some sort of predictability what the minimum gas price would be in a next block or several next blocks, because you know what these things does not move very significantly, very some special curve, but it has a very high level of predictability. And I think that miners during the super big competition on Ethereum, where gas price of hundreds of gigawatt does not create more security. The gas does not get proportional to amount of hash power the miner put. Like basically Ethereum consensus built on a proof of work right now, and it's more secure the more work have you done. And well, miners do same amount of work, the same amount of security they provide. If gas price is very expensive, there is no additional security creates for Ethereum blockchain. Only miners get more money. Well, and it's only during a particular spike. So this idea that when you have a spike, the base gas increases well, and you kind of remove this base fee from a miner reward, basically makes it more fair game for miners and for a whole network security. And because you get this base fee in burn, it will eventually might make Ethereum a deflationary. However, it's not true right now because you still have some base reward for a new mine block, which is 2 Ether right now, and it's almost always more than a gas fee that miners receive from a transaction. So I hope I cover some misconceptions which will make your life a little bit more easier next week.